In 2007, the European Year of Equal Opportunities for All gave the fight against discrimination great momentum and paved the way for a more diverse and just European society. Although this awareness-raising year is seen as a major success, when looking at the participation in higher education, one can see remaining inequalities. Maastricht Debates attempts to discuss whether studying in the EU is a question of wealth. 3 expert speakers talk about the still existing obstacles that hinder equality of opportunities. Professor Luc Soete is concerned about the existing differences in tuition fee between EU and non-EU students.
One pays 1,672 and the other pays 12,000 euros for a master's degree. That's impossible. That's unfair and it makes no sense. My main message is that, like in the United States, where nobody makes a single distinction between the origin of a student, whether he's US, whether he's from North America or from the Americas, we in Europe should stop making a distinction between whether students are from Europe, from the Netherlands or from Europe, or outside of Europe.
Rein de Wilde, Dean at Maastricht University, highlights another aspect, namely the responsibility of alumni.
In 10 years' time, these students will be our alumni and they will have salaries. And if they just pay a tiny part of their salary to a scholarship fund in our university, we can do at least a little bit better, in these areas.
But also the more fortunate students should contribute to the financing of higher education.
And these students, and now I think they could pay more. And we could use that extra money to spend on other students, who cannot afford higher education today.
Furthermore, education is at the concern of national governments.
Well, it really depends which education level you're talking about. The first 2-3 levels are the responsibility of the state because they are representative of society, and education is a major building block in building a society. Whether it is in the Netherlands or European society, you build something. It is not only a consumer good.
However, Professor Rein de Wilde mentions the existing paradox.
Everybody preaches, in this area, saying yes, education is important, higher education is important, but in the end nobody wants to pay more for it. That's the paradox we live in.
So what about the future of higher education in Europe? What are the scenarios?
And so we will have far more inequality by the refusal of governments on the one hand to invest more, by European governments to invest more, and also by the refusal by the same governments to allow universities to attract more private money, to increase the financial base of universities.
They will have to pay higher fees, and that in some cases, in very pessimistic scenarios, are even not able to pay it. So, and that also creates a responsibility for universities, also for our universities, to do the best to be as open as possible.
Time, maybe it's too early, but I think that in 10 years' time we will probably be in a system of an equal tuition fee for all students, wherever they come from. That tuition fee will not be full cost. It will be maybe 50%, something in that bracket. I think that we will have probably, with respect to the loan scheme, the system by which students then, say, survive in terms of having an income, we will have a form of one or the other form of loan scheme, some kind of academic tax system, which is basically a payment back once you have your income as a percentage, paying back your tuition and the cost of your study.
The education system involves many actors. All have one common interest: good education that is affordable for the individual student. Without students, no universities and no flourishing society.